어... 음. 어디? 탱글타워. 그림이 살인을 저질렀다는 게임이었나? 해봐야지. 이렇게 시간 건가?
You ready, Sally?
Rimore, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Just checking.
Do you have the map?
Yeah, but it's basically blank. Did you read the case file? What do you think?
I'm not sure yet. It's really not a lot to go on. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it on the way to the crime scene.
약간 튜토리얼인 거지 지금은? 살인 피해자 프레야 펠로우 19세. 플로라 펠로우의 초상화를 그리는 도중 사망. 프레야 펠로우는 등을 바닥에 대고 쓰러진 채 발견됐다. 가슴에 단 하나 자상을 입은 상태였다. 현장에서는 어떠한 무기도 발견되지 않았지만 프레야가 끝내지 못한 그림 속 주인공은 칼을 들고 있다. 그림 속의 칼에 물감이 아닌 피로 확인이 됐다네요. 그러면 이 칼에 마우스가 안 보이는구나. 잠시만요. 커서 캡처를 해보면 됐다. 그러면 이 칼에 있는 게 피라는 소리네. 이건 뭐지? 프레야 펠로우. 빠이야. 탱글타워 종이에 그려진 작은 그림. 뒤에 메모가 적혀있다. 뒤는 어떻게 봐? 이게 메모인 건가? 이곳은 현재 탱글타워라고 불리지만 하단부 저택에 연결된 2개의 탑이 있을 뿐이다. Okay.
Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that.
What are they?
Silent wooden wind chimes. So, who do you think did it?
They haven't even been to the crime scene.
Still, I reckon I've got it all worked.
이런 거 보면은 이런 호수에 뭔가
And
있는데
it's full of the same weird water that was in the lake.
Any fish in there?
Not a single one. Although there is something in there.
It's a cassette tape. Or it used to be.
망가지기 전에 카스. 손상된 테이프. 라벨의 잉크는 번져서 알아볼 수 없다.
Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare away the
Is
dead.
it working?
No. It's a stone carving. Wonder how it got cracked.
I think it's supposed to look like that. It's an egg.
더는 없어 보이는구만.
It's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to say, too quiet?
It's not. It's an appropriate amount of quiet.
무조건 이동은 지도로 하는 거구나. 이건 뭐야?
Is that an envelope?
It's been opened. But the letters... Let's read it.
Isn't that an invasion of
No,
some...
definitely.
봉투가 뜯겨 있다. 조합은 다른 종이에 있습니다. 조합을 외운 뒤에는 이 종이를 없애십시오. 당신의 사고에는 동의할 수 없습니다. 그것은 밑에서 찾을 수 없을 것입니다. 뭘까? 5가 바닥에 떨어져 있어.
What?
Oh, there's an O on the floor.
Tangle tour.
Twir.
이건 뭐야?
Yeah, there's a heart engraved in the tree. I didn't know people actually did that.
PPFF. Do you think he'll start to move if we try to go inside?
No, I think he'll just silently judge us.
여기도 갈 수
Let's
있나?
head to the crime scene first. It's at the top of the west.
오케이.
What is that?
I think it's a family tree.
자세히 봐봐. 뭐지? 여기에 이름 없나? 여기 있다. 프레이야 펠로우.
Freya Fellow.
The murder victim.
She's barely related to the main family at all.
플로라 펠로우였지 않나? 그림 그리는 건? 내가 잘못 읽었었나? 가족 관계를 알았어. 플로라 펠로우.
What is
I
that?
think it's a family tree.
플로라 펠로우가 어디 있어? 내가 못 찾는 건가? 그냥 그림의 인물이 플로란가?
It's a big glass tube filled with water.
There are weeds in there.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except there's nothing living in it anymore.
올더빙인가봐요.
It's not locked.
너무 좋아 이런 거.
A door.
Oh, what's behind it?
A room.
너 극한의 티구나.
Let's head to the crime scene. It's at the top of the west tower, I think.
빠야. 사건의 현장.
The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood. Right. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas.
So?
So she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
Let's check the case file again.
이건 뭐지?
Let's take a look at that painting first. There it is. The unfinished portrait of Flora Fellow.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting it?
Looks that way.
이게 지금 피래요.
I wonder if all of Freya's paintings are this
뭐야?
creepy. Maybe it's just because she never got to finish it.
There's something wrong with the crime scene. And something really weird about the murder weapon.
We didn't find a murder weapon.
맞지? 뭐 이게? 그냥 지금 아무 단서도 없는데? 그렇단 거는 플로라의 초상화가 칼을 들고 있으며 그 끝에 묻은 건 피다. 왜냐면 그것이 프레야를 찔렀기 때문이다.
Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya.
What?
말이
Weird, huh?
안 되지만
You think Freya was stabbed by a painting?
어
Not by the woman from the painting, but by the painting itself.
Mm-hmm.
어.
Freya was standing right up by the canvas when she was killed. There's blood on the knife. It's the murder weapon.
Right. But it's not actually a knife. It can't stab.
See any other knives around here? Case closed.
The case is not closed. And even if you were right, where does that leave us? A painting can't be a murder suspect.
끝내지 못한 그림. 일단은 그림을 한 번 더
There it
보자.
is.
So, what?
Looks that way. Supposedly, Freya was working on the painting. Looks like she was still holding her paintbrush and palette when she fell.
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
빨간 물감이 묻은 채 말라있다. 물감이겠지?
Supposedly, Freya was working.
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
무슨 확인을 못하니?
Is that a
I
gramophone?
think so, except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
It's also got a big crack down the middle.
어? 여기다가 이거 못하나 연결? 아, 물에 젖어 손상이 되었다.
What
아,
about the cassette tape?
어?
Yeah, it sure is. Tank.
라벨에 손으로 적었어. 프레야에게
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? Yeah, we could give it a go.
아이템 사용은 어떻게 하죠? 사용하게 해줘. 들어보자.
It's piano music.
짧게 재생되다 멈춘다. 이거 들어보자. 뭐지? 이게 무슨 소리야? 발자국 소리인데?
Weird.
노래?
It's someone humming a tune.
재밌군.
Flora Fellow?
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
Nothing. What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence, I suppose.
For now.
잠시만요. 어서 오세요. 채팅을 내리고 해야겠다. 채팅을 내리고 할게요. 보니까 말풍선을 가리네.
Flora Fellow?
본인.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us, Flora?
왜
I
말이
don't really
없지?
know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it. We'll just have to ask other people about her.
Yeah, okay.
솔직히 이렇게 말을 안 하면 제일 수상한
Freya
사람이
was
되는
painting your
겁니다.
portrait yesterday. Is that right?
Was this something you had planned with her ahead of time?
Was there something special about yesterday?
Did you talk to Freya at all while she was painting you?
She's not going to answer us, is she?
말을 해줘.
But at least we can say we tried. Flora, you were definitely in the room at the time of the murder. Surely you must have seen something? Can you tell me anything about what happened to Freya? She's acting pretty suspicious if you ask me.
I don't know. Maybe she really doesn't know anything.
How is that possible? We're at the top of the tower, right?
I think so. Why?
Doesn't matter. It's nothing. That's the only door in and out of the room.
It's also on the floor.
Sure is.
내려가 볼까? 여긴 무슨 방이지? 작업장.
A little hand-painted statue.
How can you tell it's hand-painted?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
빨간색이 없다. 물감이 다른 건 다 있는데 아닌가?
Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
Well, I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
So, Felix, what exactly do you, do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer slash treasure hunter. Yes, well, best in the world.
We're talking like curse statues, spike pits.
It's a little more sophisticated than that. But I've certainly seen my share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is...
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
Don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help, but I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm
정말
sure you're
없을까?
up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, working on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
It was dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life itself.
Abridged version, please.
Right, fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me.
이거는 나중에 나오나 보지?
A hammock. It's
I would politely describe.
오. 영리하다.
That painting is really something.
Why would you want it looming over your bed like that?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the atmosphere it creates.
The atmosphere of chaos and oppression?
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph. Even though we're halfway up a tower, someone's been tracking in mud from outside. It's Freya's bed. A little bit messy.
It's a perfectly healthy.
That's weird.
What did you find in the drawers?
Nothing.
뭔가 특별한 게
Do you think
없나?
this was always supposed to be a bedroom?
I don't know. It is kind of a weird shape.
No windows either.
It's an illustrated book about birds.
It's been left open. Looks like somebody was
Or it was left open for us to find.
ever so slightly unnerving.
이게 만약에 칼이 아니라 깃털이라면? 잠깐만. 아, 이상한 생각이겠지 뭐.
Curious. I would expect bacteria of that nature to thrive in these conditions.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk.
Correction. You do not need to talk to me,
Oh no? How come?
because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all crimes.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangletawer for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis? About the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Fifi Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator. You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing. What can you tell me about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too, Fifi?
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
오케이.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
Fifi's bedroom should be unlocked now.
Can't wait.
그럼 바로 가면은 그래.
It looks like a microscope, a big one.
Can I touch it? I'm not sure this is a microscope.
열쇠? 열쇠를 아 배율이 써있구나. 치워봐. 이거 되는 거? 마이너스. 플러스. 이렇게 하면 열쇠. 열쇠. 아. 이게 아닌가? 이게 마이너스 한 거죠. 플러스. 내가 잘못한 게인가? 나 아까 어떻게 했지? 맞는 것 같은데 이게 마이너스고 얘가 플러스고 얘가 풀풀인가 설마? 그러면? 그리고 이런 식으로 해서 아 이런 식으로 해서 맞추는구나. 에... 이거를 연결을 해야 되나? 이거다. 얘를 어디다 두지? 근데 이걸 하자니 난 바본가? 에? 아까 거의 다 했던 것 같았는데. 사회는 안올 것 같고 B하고 이걸 하고 터치나? 됐다 아닌가?
That's the one.
클릭을 해야 되는 거구나.
Hey, not bad.
에이,
Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah, it's built on top of a. There's a book in here.
비밀 일기장. 오프나? 나중에 풀 수 있겠죠.
What's that big book?
Looks like something Fifi's been
Is it a
writing.
clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology experiments.
It's a magnifying glass. A
How
big
come
one.
you don't have one of those?
Why? Because I'm a detective? Should I start smoking a pipe too?
You
셜록
can block
홈즈.
the pipe.
Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
관계도 같던데.
Who's that?
Not sure.
That's gotta be Flora. I think that's supposed to be Felix. And that's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
Who's that?
Not sure.
Did you notice who isn't on here?
여기 없는 사람 있다.
Freya?
Mm-hmm.
그러네.
And Fifi herself. A new suspect! Don't think you can get out being questioned just because you're a bear.
I'm innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge.
일기장을 얘한테 갖다 주면은 열어줄까? 비밀 일기장인데. 아니야.
Books about birds.
The shelves are about...
Oh, so you're a... The
You
shelves
knew
are...
this already.
It's a big stone.
Biggest one I've ever searched one to. There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off.
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's
I'm guessing it doesn't tell the time.
so what does it do?
다이얼을 돌려서 올바른 위치를 가라고? 이거를 서로 만나게 해야 되는 건가? 뭘 봐야 아직은 모르는 것 같은데
I'll do this later.
힌트가 부족해서.
Whoa, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
Private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangletower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
Huh?
You really think so? As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangletower. Hers was one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear, but sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say.
안녕하세요. 어이 깜짝이야. 나무가 아니었구나. 이건 뭐지?
A little chart of, Actually, I have no idea what it's about.
이게 뭘까?
Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone, don't you think? It's glass, but I can't see through it.
Total oxymoron.
I am not. Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him.
어린이 마요.
He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry.
Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener.
뭐지?
I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we
비명
went up there.
소리가 사람 소리가 아니네.
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the fellow tower.
This could be interesting.
반대쪽 방은 누가 살까?
Hello.
Not hidden very well, is it?
Doesn't need to be. It's a combination lock. Sort of.
아, 이거구나. 이거고. 나머지는 그냥 해봐야지 하고 있었는데 안 되네.
There we go.
Perfect. Anything in there?
뭐가
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth.
있을까요?
Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
불길하다고? 아이 뭐야 모정삽이잖아. 어? 피피. 이거 문에 적혀있던 거. PPFF.
It's a
누구야?
handmade card. Someone's drawn a heart on the front. Inside it says, "To Fitz from PP."
PP.
There's someone outside the window.
It's probably just a rock.
You sure? An empty glass and an empty plate.
Looking at it is making me want to cry.
Why?
I don't know.
It's locked, but it leads outside.
I thought we were halfway up a tower.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
뚜껑을 밀어 열 수 있어. 밀어. 밀어. 아.
Nothing. Still
The
locked.
tiles have all got that same sun symbol on them.
Those moon symbols in the slots.
Maybe they're connected, but also not.
이캔가?
Nope. It's
Maybe
not.
the
So
information
where is it?
somewhere else. Let's come back once we know what to do.
어? 이건데 얘가 보낸 건가?
Whatever it is, it's playing a little trumpet.
He's gotta practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
컵 같아.
Are they paper lanterns?
Whatever they are, it's like a little parade of floating spirits.
One old wooden bookcase.
Yep.
25 dry old books.
Mm-hmm.
4 lit candles.
Yeah.
Am I the only one seeing the problem?
Are you a ghost?
Sally! That's rude! Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment, but I am alive.
Ah,
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
what's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
I know.
Hey, you're pretty good.
All in the wrist. And 13 years of dedicated practice. I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tango Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away. Definitely. Fifi, Freya, and I would often talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi... Things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer.
잠깐.
3.5 hours of piano practice. Soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5. Does that not hurt your hands?
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my room. When I make mistakes, I like to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little
발표정은?
garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
No, Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that. Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it, but I'm struggling. It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside. Freya was lying on the floor.
Flora was in the room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did. I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually, she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already been crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason. The 3 of us went back up to Flora's tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test. She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Poppy's bedroom is unlocked.
I wonder what's in there.
보자고. 와우.
There's a name for this kind of piano. You know, these ones that stand upright.
여기도 이거
A
있다.
big glass door.
여기는 왠지 해 그림이 있을 것
There's
같다.
a little mechanism.
딱. 역시나. 이게 다리였죠.
Something happened.
That must be it. And the door's still locked.
I still feel like we made some.
반대쪽도 같이 해야 되나 보다.
A single. How very.
Yeah, weird.
여기도 초가 4개.
Oh, thank goodness. There are 7 lit candles. Wouldn't want it to be
일곱 개?
dark in here.
전부 다.
Ah, yes, a giant. Oh, it's a good omen.
It's an eye.
That.
I thought vampires.
This is a vampire who needs.
이거 외에는 뭐 없나?
Anything in the wardrobe?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there are so many shades of blue.
Anything in.
Nothing you need to know about. It's a metronome for keeping.
It's ticking. Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are, though.
아이를 모두 돌려서. 어? 이놈의 더블 플레이.
There we go.
Perfect. What happened?
Little hatch unlocked.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. Part of a photograph.
사진의 일부. 과거 사진인가 보다. 응. 딱 봐도 그 맞네. 얘가 준 거.
Sheet music.
It's only a few notes.
Yeah, it's been framed though. Must be important for some reason.
히히. 가서
It's locked.
I
But
thought we
we
had
are.
something by the.
밀어버리고 하나, 둘, 셋.
It made a noise.
I guess that was right. Finally. it's a-
Whatever's on the other side.
나가자.
It's another little statue doing a
He's
re-
playing a lute this time.
He's also wearing headphones.
Well, they're not part of the stand. They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. Giant stone frog. Love it.
He's got his tongue out like he's catching snowflakes.
혀에 뭐가 있는데.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
그러니까.
A little pond.
It looks really. See those metal bars around the edges too?
Oh, yeah. What do you suppose they're for?
Nothing anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
It's a rose bush, growing on a little patch of bluish soil. Apart from a couple of loose petals on one side, the whole thing looks very well cared for.
The roses are bright red too.
Now, aren't roses...
Exactly.
그런 게 없는 것 같은데.
Giant stone frog.
Yeah,
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
The door into Poppy's
So-
room. I guess.
응. 깃털은 얼었어.
Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental.
My little writing desk.
There's nothing written in the book, although someone's torn a page out of the middle. I don't like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using a mirror?
I do it by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
무기냐고.
And especially fancy.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
응, 얘네 깃털이다. 아닌가? 새 2마리. 빨간색, 보라색.
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a little seafoam green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shade, you're really pushing the envelope.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the background.
Oh, you're the detective? Delightful. Penny Pointer, pleasure.
Is that short for Penelope?
Officially, yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Travel?
뭐지?
Where to?
Anywhere at all, as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it. I call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangletower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where I go, I always find myself coming home to Tangletower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him! Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't bear for us to be apart.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, don't you know? My fiancé, dear Fitz. He's not really the traveling type, you see.
Fitz fellow.
The very one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our two families. Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether.
피피. If.
Isn't he strapping?
He is
막,
big.
아, 이렇게.
And so brooding.
Kinda sulky, yeah.
I can never tell what's going on in that beautiful head of his.
이렇게 해서 말할 수 있구나.
It just sounds like you don't know him very well.
I don't remember asking for your input.
오이야. 자, 어디 한번 모종삽을 줘볼까요? 이렇게 하게 되면은
Oh, did Fitz show you that?
Not exactly.
We found it hidden under his bed.
Ah, right.
그리고 이
There
깃털은
used to be all kinds of birds here at 탱글타워. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. I must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of company.
They belong to you? Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara, and Tatiana.
I've already forgotten all three of those names.
Which one is
나도.
which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is
듣자마자
the youngest,
까먹었어.
Tabitha is the most patient, and Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
Glad we cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? He's just my hat. He doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat?
모자였어?
Somebody taking an interest in extinct animals.
Extinct.
Oh, yes. The book is very old. Most of the birds in it are long gone.
Well, what about this bird, though? The ink dip.
This one, well, was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangletower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh. We can get into Penny's room now.
Now, like,
잠깐만. 진술 안 들었지? 이런.
it's a birdhouse.
Are those real? Nope. They're wooden.
They're using up all the perches. What if a real bird wanted to use it?
Nope.
There must be some logic. Something to do with those.
이거에 관련된 게
I'll do this later. That's some flower.
There's something weird about it. It just feels out of place. A little bedtime reading?
Let's see. Romance novel. And
What?
this one appears to be
Nice.
Looks like nature invited itself in. Rude.
down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there, crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
It's where he's happiest. That, and he has a great deal of work to do every day, watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Do you help him with the work in the greenhouse?
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it. I'd probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
No. In the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course,
밥ing말이?
and they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I.
무슨 소리를 해봤어?
Sometime in the evening, I left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. He was muttering something. Seemed a bit upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library. I don't know what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower. I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom. He looked rather lost, too. I told him I was looking for Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there. Fitz, too, standing over in the corner with Fifi and Poppy.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
다 질러보자.
It's tidier than mine. The notebooks.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank. You know, I've always wanted one of those.
A mechanical solar system?
I would look at it.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle, sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
이건 뭐야? 일자로 만드는 건가? 다섯 개의 행성을 태우가 달을 중심으로 발전해봐. 설마 그림자로 다 치워야 되나?
I'll do this later.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return, nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the Cosmos I say hi.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening. I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever, then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all. A bell jar.
What do people normally keep in bell
Other
jars?
than bells, you mean?
Pretty.
Every astronomy tower.
I want to try.
It's the tower opposite this one. You can see right into...
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. Behind her is the back side of the easel. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this.
Is that a window?
여기 위에 방이 있나 본데?
I think it is.
Is there another room above Flora's?
We should check that next time we're over there.
천장에 막혀 있었잖아.
Isn't this supposed to be an astronomy
I
telescope?
can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
왜 저쪽 고정됐지?
It's too cloudy to
It's
see.
also daytime.
A picture frame.
With no picture. What is it?
Large.
You're not wrong. You know, I would look.
뭐를 그림자 방향으로 하나 보다. 이렇게 맞춰버려. 얘 여기다 놔.
I got it.
I'm impressed.
됐다.
Did you hear that?
There's a little hatch underneath.
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
벌레? (95데시벨)
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
이 스타일이
But who
아니라고?
else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody?
웃기지 마.
I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me.
흑역사인가?
Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
Found them lying around. I think they belonged to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones. Like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
엥?
Yeah, it's mine.
What's so special about it?
I got it from my teacher. It's the first piece I ever learned.
How long have you been playing?
Since the day I turned 6. Family tradition. I was really excited to start learning. As soon as I got out of my first lesson, I told Freya and Fifi all about it. When I arrived at my second lesson the next day, Freya was there too. She hadn't asked permission, just showed up. For 2 whole years, the teacher taught us both.
Was Freya any good?
She would have been even better than me, if she'd stuck with it. But one day, she just stopped coming to lessons.
Why?
That's just it. There was no reason. That's when I realized things were different for her. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
Do you know why?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably
Oh.
why I've been avoiding it.
이건
This
알려나?
is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy.
그러면 프레야가 이거를 녹음한 거네. 내가 뭘 안 풀었지? 뭐야 이거는?
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then I heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs.
I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase. crossed the hall and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
분명히 안 내려옵니다.
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through.
A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother's not been in the library for some time.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues. An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
Is she laughing?
Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be?
뭔가 특별한
It's a statue standing up straight.
You know, there's a name for that.
I know.
It's not all stuffed. What's in that little box? I bet it's bones. A
You know,
skull.
maybe I won't open it.
안 열어.
What is that?
Not sure. Some kind
Looks
of...
like it might attach to something.
It's a jar.
Huh. Just dusty junk.
Someone painted out the window.
Do you think it was done recently?
No idea. Either way, it's pretty suspicious. Nothing catching my interest. Kind of.
Okay.
This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gem-stony.
Sometimes, you never really know what's going to happen.
And what do you do with this shiny and edible fruit?
You look at it. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to.
We found these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone.
A little chart of... Actually, I have no idea what it's about. Not a whole lot.
잠깐만.
A little chart of... Actually, I have no idea what...
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
아, 아이 깜짝이야. 난 저게 무슨 도움말인 줄 알았는데 힌트구나.
It's a little glass box.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
A pillow with a paw.
It's
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate. It's a little wooden box for
To
paintwork.
the casual observer. They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
이건 뭐지? 옷을 바꿔서 올바른 순서를 찾아 조용히 보죠.
Nothing.
Did you find it? It looks like a ripped up jigsaw.
이거는 세 번째가 맞을 거야. 이게 뭐고? 이거는 여기는
That was
Each
incorrect.
brush, the information we need is on the paper.
Still locked.
So, the paper jigsaw puzzle shows a couple of brushes with each characteristic, but only one perfect solution.
에
Still locked.
So, the paper jigsaw puzzle. There's a couple of brushes with each character.
이 캔가? 이게 뭘까? 이게 뭘까?
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
주황색이 앞으로. 그래. 난 주황색 다 앞으로 보내. 핑크색 뒤로 보내고. 이건 뭐고 이건 뭐지? 붓의 길이인가? 짧은 게 앞으로? 이 캔가? 그리고 녹색이 앞으로, 짧은 게 앞으로.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with.
에... 이게 어떻게 되는 순서야?
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
이게 무슨 순서요?
Still locked.
There's a couple of brushes with.
I'll come back later.
저기 무슨 순서지?
It's a little wooden box.
To the casual observer. Nothing.
Did you find it? It looks like a ripped up jigsaw puzzle.
왠지 얜 이거 맞는 것 같은데. 이해가 안 되네.
That was
The information we need is on.
이 물음표들은 뭐지? 와, 이 힌트로는 내가 왜 뭐지? 초록색은 파란색보다 앞이다. 얇은 게 넓은 것보다 앞이다. 부채꼴. 주황색이 앞이다. 하지만 초록색보단 앞이 아니다. 짧은 게 아프다. 짧은 게 앞이다. 긴 게 뒤다. 짧은 게 앞이다. 하지만 녹색보다는 뒤다. 어떻게 해야 돼? 그냥 이게 앞인가?
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
가만히 있는 건가? 그런 거 없고. 짠.
Still locked.
So, there's a couple of brushes with each.
주황색에 짧어. 녹색이야. 그리고 이건 이거고, 이거 이거고. 이건가?
I did it.
Not bad.
아, 우선순위가 있는 게 아니라
What
그냥
was in the
그
box?
부채 특징이구나.
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph.
엥? 어.
There's something about that pink cassette tape. Something.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
이게 문제를 풀면은 이게 되는구나. 오,
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
당신은 예전에 이런 색을
You
좋아했습니다.
used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors.
아이, 증거잖아.
Let's take a closer look at this.
아, 이렇게 해서 찾아야 돼?
The message on the tape, found at the crime scene, matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo. Almost. Maybe just change. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
히히.
You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up and then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward.
퍼피는 더 이상 그렇게 보고 싶지 않다.
Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe. It depends on...
Reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
뭐야?
Oh, whatever it is,
Well,
it's
it is
what's with all the broken glass.
어?
Yeah, I need to confirm something with you.
Confirm away.
처음부터 해야
What
돼?
can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind?
No idea. Ask
It sounds...
Sure, it doesn't
Why
belong.
are we... Cassette tapes have
The
been...
tape was found at the crime scene.
It's not mine. I'd never...
Why not?
Not mine.
You used to like them. We need a clue to compare them. Let's take a closer look at this.
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it. You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya... It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up and then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy hates Fifi and Freya now.
You sure about that?
Not entirely. I think the answer is pretty straightforward. The photo proves Poppy is the murderer.
You sure about that?
Not entirely. I think the answer is pretty
Well,
straightforward.
이렇게
Poppy
돼.
doesn't want to look like
That's
that.
it. Makes this whole thing seem...
Maybe.
Reason.
The passage of time is a power.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the...
There's one other thing I want to know. How did
I
it...
have no idea. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would
설마
borrow it
이런
too
거 다
sometimes.
이야기를 해야 저런 거 열리나?
I need to confirm something with you.
Confirm
What can
it
How
belonged
do
to
you know
my
it?
passage.
It's
I'm
sounds.
sure it doesn't belong
Why
here.
is that
The
tape?
tape was found at the.
It's not mine.
Why not?
Not?
You used. We need a clue. Let's take a closer look at this. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
That is not.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it. You look a little different. It's clearly a photo. Why'd you tear it up?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem...
Maybe. It
Reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
뭔가 단서를 더 찾아야 되나 보네. 내가 말을 잘못한 건가?
Sheet music.
That's a lot of
Probably
note.
while they're on the floor.
The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother. And my mother, maybe it is the other way.
When did it get
I
cracked?
cannot pinpoint it. All I know is that it must have. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you...
That was not me. Besides, it was only a third.
갑자기 머리가 아파. 저게 왜 안 될까?
Is this yours, Fifi?
I do not recognize Besides, I would have no Perhaps it could be used to hang wet lawn.
Was that...
Yes.
왜 저게 안 돼? 설마 저 얘가 관련되어 있니? 이거랑
Where did you find
It was in the attic.
Oh, huh. I forgot we even had an attic.
This is a photo of Fifi.
Yeah,
How come you're not in it?
I'm not really one for photo.
Fifi looks like she really...
Fifi's loyalty.
다른 게 있나?
There's something about that diary. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
Is this your diary, Fifi? We found it in your bedroom.
Of course it is mine. Ridiculous question.
Why is it locked up like that?
You seriously require Very well. A fairly common concept, the so-called secret diary.
So, there are secrets written in here?
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
It's Fifi's diary, and she has written in it.
I'm not sure about that.
Me neither.
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
이건 일기장이 전혀 아니에요.
It's not a diary at all.
I'm not
Me
sure.
neither.
This particular diary is
It doesn't look unused.
그러면은 다른
It's
사람.
somebody else's diary.
How could you arrive at that conclusion? It is kept in my bedroom. It is mine.
We need a clue to compare with the diary. Something to prove who the original owner was.
아. 어.
Let's take a closer look at this. This blue book is somewhat similar to the secret diary, which proves it belonged to Freya. Almost. Maybe. This blue book is the same thing as the secret diary,
게
which
아니라
proves
똑같은
it
것이라는
belonged to
그게
Freya.
있었네.
You were hiding Freya's diary in your room, and you kept it locked, too.
Why would I do either of these things?
Fifi didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary.
Is this true, Fifi?
I know Freya was your friend, but if you're trying to hide something,
You did not know Freya, so this might be difficult to understand. She did her own thing, in her own way. By concealing Freya's written accounts, it is simply my intention to preserve her innocence.
Innocence?
might be easier if you just let us read the diary, Fifi.
Very
열어줘.
well. I will open it. However, as you read it, please remember, Freya was the most kind and the most wise person I have ever known.
All right, Fifi unlocked.
Finally. What's in there?
그렇게 다시 보는다. 이번엔 실제로 나이가 그 그림을 찢어버려야 할 것 같다. 이거는 중앙으로 가는 길을 찾았다. 하프랑 비교하면 굉장히 단순했다. 그들을 모두 봤다. 다섯 모두 눈을 모두 까맣게 고 하프?
It's a statue of some
Playing a harp.
playing a harp. Hang on a second. This isn't just a regular statue.
Something tells me we're not gonna solve this just yet.
Let's come back. It must do.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
그림을 찢어야 할 것 같다.
painting.
Why would you
Maybe
want
Freya enjoyed
the
the
atmosphere?
Hang on, there's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph.
그림이 찢어질 것 같다. 뭐지?
There it is. The unfinished
So-
looks that way.
가손는 뭐지? 일반적.
Do you think he'll start to move if
No, I think he'll just. Ah, there's a heart. I didn't know people.
PPFF.
맞지? 그냥 가서
Don't think it's
아니,
I'm pretty sure that's the rule, yeah.
We already solved it.
그랑 비교하면 굉장히 다르죠. 내가 봤는데 못 본 게 있었나?
It's another little.
He's playing a lute this
He's
time.
also.
Well, they're not part of this, and they're not headphones. They're earmuffs. Giant stone frog.
Yeah, he's
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
기억이 안 나. 아, 이건가? 이게 아닌 것 같은데.
It's a birdhouse.
Are those real birds? Nope.
There must be something to do with those white lines.
이게 무슨 관계가?
I got it.
I'm impressed. Did the door open?
뭐 이제 내가 그녀를 갖겠어? 이제 아니
And
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
That's rather strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
We do that.
Who's the her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really none of your business.
그냥 이야기 좀 해요.
Those petals, they,
What?
they're red.
네. 힌트 봐야지. 작업실을 살펴봐야 된다.
Is that an egg?
It's also what a completely ordinary.
I think it's a container for something.
Those gems look like they come off.
원석의 위치를 보라.
It's some kind of clue about... It's some kind of clue.
That's the one.
Hey, not bad. Did it unlock?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I'm not the empty egg is a clue, right?
The attic strike me.
Yeah. Freya's painting supplies. Freya's painting supplies.
아니 빨간색.
Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked?
에이, 이야기 안 해줄 거는.
A little hand paint.
Well,
Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell. Nice.
How do you know this?
Might
treasure?
else. Plus, there's a treasure map. What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
용, 나무, 새, 산, 용. H 아니구나. I no.
Nothing.
Did you check the treasure map? And what about that painting on the chest?
여기잖아. 아 설마.
Still locked.
I think like they're different versions.
새가 없지. 이건 뭐지? 괴물은 안 보인다. 옆으로도 볼 수 있나? 그럼 되긴 하는데.
There we go.
Perfect. What was in the box?
More. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
Ah, you found it. I had to rush the final touch. It turned out all right.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course. Surrounded by all her...
There's something about the image of Flora. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is. Let's take a closer look at this. The painted knife is actually just a feather
저는
from
저
an
책 보자마자
inked bird.
느꼈어.
It's definitely the right shape, but the book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red and white, specifically. Is there anything to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too?
책 속에 올라서 빨리 걷고 하얀색이라는 걸 보여주는 거고.
This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
The ink-dip bird was Flora's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally. This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
이게 뭐냐면 바로 어딨냐 속이비날.
That we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm. Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at something in the corner of the room.
It's just a pile of books. Wait, there's something...
이거 어디 있죠?
I like these drawings, Flora.
Is there...
아니. 한번 읽고 싶은 게 있어. 플로라와 작은 새를 그린 그림 뒤에 손으로 적은 메시지가 있다.
These drawings are quite precious. I'm surprised Flora let you see them.
What happened to the bird? Did it die?
I don't know. Seems likely, though, doesn't it?
왠지 새는 얘한테 가야 될 것 같은 느낌이.
It's that bird. But these must have been drawn at least a year ago. Oh, how sad.
에? 아니면 얘가 옆에서 보지 않았을까?
Yes, very nice. Where is that bird of Flora? It's been a while since I've seen it.
Freya drew these,
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
but she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother. Like a private thing between Freya and Flora.
왠지 선생님 이야기만 더 해봐요.
That's one of Freya's paintings. It's impressive, but a little... I've been carving for a... I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to...
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed, yes. Freya kindly taught me the... Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course. I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangletawer. Safety first and all that.
뭐지?
What is it?
We don't know. We were really...
My friends, shed your hope and let it fall free like sandbags from a hot air balloon.
That's the most depressing idiom I've ever heard. Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to
Is it
scare-
working?
No. I'm still not...
Should we take another?
Let's come back later.
생각보다 뭔가 어디로 가야 할지 깊이가 안 잡힌다. 깊이가 안 잡혀.
Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no, then. Where did you find them?
Or who might have had it?
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to
그래라.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangletower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
What's this? Is it a clue?
We don't actually know. But Grimoire picked it up, so now he has to pretend it is.
That's how it works.
뭔가 놓친 게 있나?
There's something about pointers. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
So, Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Oh? Go on.
You're not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
I don't have time for tiny, insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large
곤충.
and the unimaginably far away.
Right. That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal into another world.
Yeah. About that.
근데 만원경이 범죄 현장.
Pointer's telescope was actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen. Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around, both towers and in the gardens too. She was definitely up to something.
So, this next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Flora? You mean
플레이야
Freya?
아니야?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
This changes your statement, doesn't it?
No, everything I told you in my statement was true.
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
Freya was definitely up to something.
Something to do with the statue in the garden, I think.
Maybe we should go back and check.
어? 뭐지 이거?
This wasn't here before.
What is it?
It's a little wooden toy.
There's a note stuck to the back.
What does it say? Grimoire?
제 새로운 친구입니다. 음악을 좋아하죠. 단순한 소녀는 그의 영혼을 감동시킬 겁니다. 그에게 행운을 빕니다. 그래요?
What do you...
How can it be?
Why don't we check the handwriting with Freya's diary?
Good idea. Hold on.
Well,
It's a perfect
oh,
match.
it's confirmed. We have a ghost helping us.
Let's keep this.
What about the little wooden toy?
Maybe we can put it to some kind of use.
아. 재밌다. 좀 알아가니까 재밌네. 플레이를 하는 방식을 몰라서 처음에.
I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
약간 뭔가 여러 개가 있네.
Let's come back later.
음악을 좋아한다. 근데 뭐지? 그 친구는 음악을 좋아한다. 일단 얘한테 가보자. 근데 새로운 친구는 아닌데. 역시 아야 미안해. 하던 거 해라. 여기로 가서 이
It's
친구?
another little statue, doing a really bad job of hiding in the bushes.
He's playing a lute this time.
He's also
Well,
wearing...
they're not part of the statue, and they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
감동시키라며. 언놈을 감동시켜야 되는 거지?
That's one big
Or
drop.
one very small dragon.
음악한다. 새로운 친구. 어쩌고 영혼. 단순한 선율을 어? 친구? 이거 연주해줘.
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
바뀐 게 있을까? 피아노. 그래서 이게 뭐 어쨌다는 거지? 일단 피아노를 봐볼까?
It's one of those big pianos with the open lids.
Don't touch it.
Why
Might
not?
be haunted.
네, 안녕하세요. 기다려봐. 이거밖에 없나? 아닐 텐데. 일단은 가보자.
I'm still not
Should we take another look?
Let's come back later.
했는데
What?
Wind chimes. Silent. Wooden wind chimes.
아 소리로 새소리. 그 다음 무슨 소리를 찾으러 가볼까? 단순한 사운드. 피아노 새소리. 이거야. 근데 이게 피아노를 했었잖아. 그러면 이것보다는
It's piano music.
요거야. 이거를 녹음한 게 아닐까? 일부러 들려주려고?
It's someone humming a tune.
또 하나의 사운드. 또 하나의 사운드.
Ah, a little water.
It's making me sleepy.
Wonder how it's hooked up.
물소리 나네.
A little
It
pond.
looks really... See those metal bars?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing anymore. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
소리 하나가 뭔가 소리 하나를 놓쳤어.
Now it's a big
There are
plant.
weeds in there.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Except more.
소리 하나를 놓쳤다. 이 새 소리는 했는데.
It's a little glass.
I think it's a
Come
vivarium.
again?
See the leaves and twigs in there? Might have been for keeping insects.
Not the kind of lamp I.
It's cool. Looks like old mining equipment. That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic power.
벌레 소리?
All the flowers here look kind of poisonous.
Can flowers be
Anything can be.
Good to know. It's bigger in here than I. It's glass.
Total
I
oxy.
am not.
Someone painted out
Do you
the
think
window.
it was done?
No idea. Either way, it's pretty suspicious.
It's a statue standing up straight.
You know, there's a name for it.
I know.
It's not quite as dusty as also, it's stuffed.
What is that?
Not sure.
Looks like it might attach to something.
어떤가?
What's in that little box? A skull, at least.
You know, maybe I won't open it.
Nothing catching my interest.
Sorry, is
Kind of.
just dusty junk?
소리.
Puffer?
Yes, it's also a lamp, for some reason. It's a drinking
Is it
horn.
full of ale?
Right now, it's just full of
No. We already solved it. Oh, thank goodness. Wouldn't want it to be. Oh, thank. Wouldn't want it to be.
소리.
There's a. You know. Yeah,
It's also daytime.
야,
What?
소리를
Ah,
내.
large.
You're not wrong.
A bell jar.
What do people
Other
normally?
than bells, you mean?
새는 했었는데.
Check out that book.
Wow, judgmental.
They're bird cages.
But the birds
that a
Oh,
myth?
it totally is.
물소리? 마지막 하나 그냥 찍으면 안 돼?
I'm still
Should
not
we take another look?
마지막 하나 그냥 찍으면 안 돼?
Let's come back.
어? 종소리. 됐다.
That's all formality.
So, what?
Should we go back to the gardens?
Let's try this again.
보자.
You know, I think we might be able to solve this.
아,
I'm sure we can solve this now.
순서를 기억해야 되네. 만세가 샌.
Let's try this.
해보자. 이것의 입술. 에? 이거 맞춤?
Nope.
설마. 맞지 않아? 맞게 되어 있는 것 같은데.
Looks like he's playing a semi. Did you not know? A little handheld one. Only.
Liar.
It's the truth, I swear.
이거 아니야? 아, 설마 이거 화살표인가? 아닌데?
Nope.
이동을 회전할 수 있어. 입술. 이거 똑같이 맞추는 건 아니겠지? 만약에 그런 거면은 진짜
That's gotta be right.
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
알아.
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to do.
셰리. 단서가 수집이 안 됐구나. 이보세요.
My little writing desk.
There's nothing written in the book. Although someone.
My little writing
There's nothing written in the book.
이거는 뭐?
A little chart. Actually, I have no idea what it's.
What do you make of
Not
it?
a whole lot.
자,
I've seen
혹시
beetles
아세요?
with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. It's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
보자.
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they like her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember what she named them?
I do not. It's of no interest to me, but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
퍼피?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details.
What do you make of the statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangletower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird.
Looks like Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that. Does Flora normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit...
Why not just ask her?
I feel like it's because they don't.
Rules to live by.
Flora's quite fond of that old... It's in poor shape.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do. It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes. So we shall.
내가 놓친 게 뭐가 있을까? 내가 놓친 게 뭐가 있을까?
Traveling cases.
Empty.
A little tea set. What's
One
in the other one?
seed.
Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit.
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point, I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look.
아유.
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relationship doing recently?
Good. It's good. Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes, blue hair, an average of 3 words per sentence. Oh, you're like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. Unusual flowers, mostly. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong?
Oh.
She was always kind to me. She'd come into the greenhouse when I was working, sometimes by herself, sometimes with Poppy. I think they were just bored at first. Eventually, they started asking questions.
About what?
Poppy wanted to learn about flowers. Freya, she used to ask me about the insects.
Insects?
One of my jobs is to protect plants from things that might eat them. Freya brought me this little glass box, leaves and twigs inside. She'd say, put all the troublemakers in there. Every day I'd put a handful of beetles and other things in the box. Then she'd come along and take it away. I didn't really understand her, but she was always kind. How odd. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
Me 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me.
¿Dónde dice que va a ser como?
Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note in the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized. What's with the broken glass?
역시 모르지.
Nice painting. Gives you a pretty good idea of the layout.
The lake looks like it forms a perfect circle around the island.
It might seem strange to you, but nature is quite capable of producing perfectly geometric forms.
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation.
Tools. Used by a gardener. Gardening.
얘랑 무슨 대화를 해야 되지?
She questioned me.
About what?
My work, the plants, bit of everything.
Did she search the greenhouse?
No, she didn't.
You sure? Maybe she did it when you weren't in there.
No, she hasn't touched it.
How can you tell?
Trust me, I can tell. Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius. Bags of soil.
It's so blue.
얘랑 이야기할 게 또 없는데. 이해를
Penelope
해볼까?
knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see?
아,
Do you
맞다.
have any?
식물.
In the greenhouse?
No,
잊고
I don't grow
있었다.
that anymore. I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
야, 이게 다야?
find that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd. What's this all about? Some kind of rare jewel?
I'm pretty sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold. Rather ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been kind to it either.
Do you know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall.
The statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable.
그냥 종합상 다
Now, this is
물어봐야겠다.
still in very good condition, apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
Looks like somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence. Cunning.
What is it?
He's an imp.
What does he...
Well, if you tell too many lies, he...
Oh.
A hammock.
I would politely describe...
The entire room is made...
No, it's not just made of wood. I think it's the actual hull of a ship. That's a
Do you think this little crab...
I hope so.
An old...
Probably cursed. Shelf junk.
Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was
이것만
so much
물어보고
more than her talent.
이유는
She
다음에
helped me
합시다.
get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh yes, especially especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at 탱글타워.
저장되나? 됐다. 게임 시작. 오케이, 오늘은 여기까지 하고 나머지는 다음에 이어서 해보도록 해요. 처음에 질문이라든지 이런 거를 어떻게 할지 몰라서 그냥 이야기만 하면 되는 줄 알았어. 진행하다 보니까 재밌어지네. 그러면 한 수요일 또는 목요일쯤에 해보겠습니다. 가빠.